Admiral Zephyr stared at the screen in front of him, confused and a little nervous. 12 small human ships had entered the star system. Only 12 behind him, his fleet stretched across space, 300 warships, all from the Galactic Coalition. 17 different species had sent their strongest ships, their best weapons. This was supposed to be easy, eh? One strong warning to humanity and they would surrender. That was the plan. But now, something felt wrong. Commander Herrock, a tall, insect-like officer, clicked his mandibles with amusement. Do the humans think this is a joke? 12 ships? Against us? Commander Vrek, a massive four-armed beast from the warrior species Kalgor, snorted. Half his face was covered in metal plates. Scans show their ships are tiny, barely 200 meters. Weak armor. Simple weapons. Maybe they came to beg. Zephyr didn't laugh. Something about the human ships made him uneasy. They didn't run. They didn't hide. They moved slowly, directly, like they had no fear. They were given a choice, Zephyr reminded everyone. Surrender their outer colonies and join the coalition peacefully, or be destroyed. For 50 cycles, they've broken our rules, Harik hissed. They trade with banned species. They ignore our laws. They treat all species as equals. It's chaos. They're stubborn, Vrek growled. Time to break them. A voice spoke up from the communication station. Admiral, the humans are sending a message. All frequencies. Zephyr leaned back. Put it on screen. That appeared was human but didn't look weak. The woman had short, dark hair, a long scar down her cheek, and eyes that looked much older than her years. This is Admiral Ji-Won of the Terran Defense Force, she said. You have one chance to leave this system peacefully, the command. Deck went silent for a second. Then dashed laughter, loud, awkward laughter in many voices, tones and languages. Officers laughed in clicks, growls, squeaks, and even song. Zephyr smiled, wiping a tear from his compound eye. You are outnumbered and outgunned. I suggest you surrender. Admiral Ji-Won didn't flinch. You misunderstand us. The voice was calm, steady, too steady. What you see in front of you, she continued, is not our army. These are our ambassadors, our peacekeepers. The laughter stopped. Zephyr frowned. The peacekeepers. Heck, blinked his many eyes. She said, ambassadors. Ji-Won nodded. Yes, these ships carry minimal weapons. Their job is to avoid war, not start one. Rek narrowed his eyes. Then where is your military, human? Ji-Won's lips curled into a soft smile. That smile felt like a knife. Commander Vrek, she said, using his name with perfect pronunciation. Your species conquered 12 systems before joining the coalition. You understand war? He grunted, proud. Humans have been at war for 96% of our recorded history, she said. We've learned war. We've lived it. We've made it into a science. And when we finally found peace, we decided to protect it not with fear, but with choice. Zephyr shifted uncomfortably. The human was not afraid. Not even a little. Scan for new contacts, he ordered. And then everything changed. The tactical display lit up. Hundreds of new ships appeared around them. They had not come from hyperspace. They had not jumped in. They were already there, hidden. They had been waiting. Zephyr's eyes went wide. The human ships were massive, bigger than anything the Coalition had ever built. Their energy readings made no sense. Some of the weapons showed patterns that were impossible. They bent known science. Admiral Ji-Won's voice spoke again, calm and cold. You asked where our military is. Now you see it. No one spoke. These ships use stealth tech, antimatter cores. I-controlled swarm fighters. Weapons your best scientists can't even dream of. While your councils debated, we built, Zephyr whispered. They were hiding their strength. Harak leaned back, his voice a whisper now. They let us see only what they wanted us to see. Mighty fleet of the Galactic Coalition suddenly felt small, weak. Exposed, Zephyr took a deep breath and opened the channel again. Admiral Ji-Won, he said, voice quiet and careful now. We withdraw our demands. She nodded. Choice, Zephyr asked. Why show us this now? Her answer was simple. To teach you something important. We didn't bring this fleet to scare you. We brought it to show you what we choose not to use. Every day, we hold this back, as a gift to the galaxy. Then, one by one, the massive ships vanished, again cloaked, invisible like ghosts in the stars. Only the 12 peaceful ships remained, as the Coalition fleet turned and slowly retreated. Admiral Zephyr felt something new. Not anger, not shame, fear, not of the weapons, but of the humans' restraint. Admiral Zephyr stood quietly on the bridge. The glow from the giant human warships still shined on the sensor display, even as they began to disappear again. His mouth felt dry. His 4 hands trembled behind his back. The laughter from before was gone. So was the pride. The real human fleet had appeared like ghosts. Now it was vanishing like shadows. The only thing left were 12 peaceful ships, small, quiet, unarmed. Zephyr felt like a child who had thrown a stone at a giant's foot. Beside him, Commander Harak whispered, "We were fools." Commander Vrek, once full of confidence, said, "Nothing." His forearms hung heavy. He had seen many wars, but nothing like this. Not even the Great Silence Wars had made him feel so. Powerless. The command deck was still and cold. "What do we do now?" Harak asked quietly. Zephyr didn't answer. Instead, he opened the channel again. "Admiral Ji-Won," he said, his voice slow and careful. "We thank you for
showing us
mercy." Her face appeared again on the screen, calm, serious, human. "This wasn't about mercy," she replied. "This was about understanding." Zephyr bowed his head slightly. "We understand now. The Coalition will not challenge Earth again." And Ji-Won nodded once. "Good, but..." "May I ask," Zephyr continued, "why didn't you show this power earlier?" "You could have ended every war before it started." Her answer was firm. "Because power is not meant to be used just to win. Power is meant to be held back until there is no other way." Vrek raised his head. "But why build so many ships? Why hide such strength?" Ji-Won looked straight into the camera. "Because we have learned, war is not a game. It is not a way to gain respect. It is a curse that must be controlled." Zephyr thought of his fleet, hundreds of ships, all now helpless against the ghost-like human fleet. He thought of how proud the Coalition had been, how arrogant. "We thought you were weak," Harak admitted. "Because you sent diplomats? Because you smiled?" Ji-Won nodded. "And now you know. Restraint is not weakness. It is strength in its highest form." There was silence. Then she said, "We fought once, but never again. The next time someone mistakes our kindness for weakness, we will not speak twice." The message ended. The screen went black. Zephyr stared at the reflection of his own eyes in the glass. He saw fear, but not fear of destruction, not fear of death. It was fear of what could have been. Fear of how close they had come to waking something far greater than war. That night, across the Coalition's 17-member worlds, the story spread like wildfire. On the blue sands of Velmara, elders told younglings of the hidden teeth of humanity. On the cloud cities of Tyrax, poets wrote about the ghost fleet. In the mountain libraries of Gorvani, the scholars renamed Earth in their history books. Terra, the planet that waited. Military academies across the galaxy changed their training. Lessons were rewritten, old beliefs thrown away. One new rule was added to every war manual. If the humans are quiet, listen. If they speak, listen closely. If they smile, run. A week later, in a quiet meeting room deep inside the Coalition, headquarters Admiral Zephyr met with other high officers. They had gathered in secret, away from the press, away from the public. "What do we do now?" One asked. "Nothing," Zephyr answered. "We study, we learn, and we respect them." "Do you think they'll attack?" another asked. "No," Zephyr said. "If they wanted war, they would have destroyed us already. That wasn't a show of power. That was a warning." Vrek leaned forward, his voice low. "Then we should fear them." Zephyr shook his head. We should never fear them. We should fear what would happen if we forced them to stop holding back. That room went quiet. One final message had been received from Earth. It had no weapons, no threats, just words. To the leaders of the Galactic Coalition, we believe in peace, but peace without strength is just hope. And hope alone does not keep the stars safe. Terran Defense Command back on Earth, Admiral Ji-Won looked up at the night sky from her base on the lunar colony. The stars blinked above. Somewhere deep in those stars, the message had been heard. She turned to her second-in-command, a quiet man named Dae-sung. "Think they'll listen next time?" he asked. "They listened today," she said, "and that's enough." Gently, she pressed a button on her wrist console. The massive fleet above Earth shimmered once and then vanished again, cloaked and silent. She smiled not with pride, but with calm, because real power is the one that sleeps quietly until needed.